What you see here is the graph of the market cycle for multifamily investing. Very important, write this down. There are 4 phases. The recovery phase, the expansion phase, the hyper supply phase, and the recession phase. I'm going to rename them into 2 phases. The fearful phase and the greedy phase. This is when you get greedy, guys. At the bottom of the cycle. When the market is in recovery, when the market is in recession, that's when you get greedy. So what happens in the recovery? We start at the expansion phase. The expansion phase is where there's no new construction, rents are increasing, vacancy is declining, everybody's talking about multifamily investing, everybody's excited about it, rents are going up, values are going up, people are buying properties, selling in 2-3 years, it's good, right? Then now, because there's a lot of demand, there's a lot of money being made, developers look at it and say, oh my God, there's not enough multifamily units, vacancy is declining, so let's build. They build a bunch of units, and guess what happened? Hyper supply. Who remembers when, like, almost every 2 weeks there was a new apartment building going up in Atlanta? Anybody that lives in Atlanta? Yeah, back in around 2019, 2020, 2021, a lot of buildings were going up, a lot of new construction, right? Then Atlanta became hyper supply, right?
Charlotte as well.
Charlotte now is going through recession. Atlanta became hyper supply, went into recession. We own buildings in Atlanta. Some of our buildings had some issues with the recession because vacancy increased. Now there were a lot of new buildings, everybody was giving concessions. 6 months free rent, 8 months free rent, this, that. That's the result of the hyper supply. So values of building go down because rents drop, they retract. So in that recession phase, that's when the big boys enter into the game, the private equity firms. Scooping, buying, left, right, buying. Then once now the most of the hyper supply has been occupied, the market starts stabilizing and you move into the recovery phase, which is where Atlanta is at today. It's in the recovery phase. And that recovery phase takes a while, then we go back into expansion. Because now when you overbuild, it's funny how the system works. When you overbuild, then it gets to a point all the city says, oh, no, we have too many units, we're gonna stop giving too many permits. You gotta make all kinds of gymnastics to get permits. No more permits, shut down for 5 years. So no building is happening. People are still moving into Atlanta. People are still moving. Atlanta is still the black Hollywood, people are still moving there. They're building all these other jobs, Rivian, all this stuff, people are still moving there. They have occupied most of those units. Then we hit back the expansion phase again, where there's more demand than supply. And rents start going up, and this is when you sell. And that's when the millions get in. Very simple. Guys, where we're sitting at today is one of the greatest opportunities in this space when it comes to multifamily investing. This is one of the greatest opportunities. We've been in this business for the last 7 years. We've never seen anything like this. If you've ever had a desire to start, to get into this game, now is the time. Because most markets are in recession and recovery across the US. We're going to be in these phases for at least a couple more years. Once we start heading towards the expansion phase, you are going to make millions and millions of dollars.